Welcome to Your Wealthy Self with me, Regina Martinelli. This show is about money and a whole lot more. Here we focus on you being able to expand your capacity for money, success, abundance, and inner wealth. We'll actually share tools, insights, and other people's journeys to help you have what's most important to you so you too can have your wealthy self. And today we are continuing our conversation with Sharon Lee Williams. And if you have not seen last week's show, you're going to want to. You're going to want to go back, and I recommend that you watch last week's episode as well. There is so much lovely wisdom for anyone who is challenged by their journey and that they are on in their life. For those of you who don't know who Sharon Lee Williams is, let me share. She has her own talk show called OutRaised Voices here on E360 TV as well. And her show delves into the unhealed scars from childhood that can develop into unhealed wounds into our adulthood, which affects all of our relationships, personal, family, romantic, business, and our goals, where we're up to in life, and even our self-worth. So this topic really aligns with the work I do on this show and the topics we deal with here in helping you create your own wealthy self. So I knew I wanted to have Sharon Lee on my show to talk more about her work. And I'm so happy to have her a second time because we cannot fit everything we want to chat about into into one show, and now even two. So Sharon Lee, welcome to our part two of this important conversation. And I just want to say, I really appreciate the work you bring and the awareness that you bring to unhealed wounds that we carry from our childhood into our adulthood and how that affects us. It's such important work because, as we were saying in the first episode, there wasn't languaging for that. There also wasn't common. So a lot of times it just got swept under the rug.
Yeah, people are busy. People, certainly in my, I would say, working class families where I kind of grew up, I think it's a working class family. People were busy just working. That's what it is. And you go out, kids played hopscotch, and you come back for lunch or you come back for supper. It was a
Yeah,
simpler way. So.
right. So let me ask you this, because we were chatting a little bit in the first episode about how those scars and that scar tissue builds up and you kind of get like this protective shield and then you find resiliency. Do you remember in your life, in your journey, where you went from protection to realizing there's resilience, like where that kind of confidence in the mindset changed?
Uh, I think I think I'm still going through that, but where I well, I think it started to change. Really started. I started to address it when I had my son. So as I said, he's going to be 37 years old. So I think I knew I didn't want to bring whatever baggage or whatever it was that I was um, carrying around with me. And that is when I started my journey of understanding myself. The confidence level, um, the confidence level is an ongoing thing. I feel confident in the world as a woman, as a black woman, as um, a woman able that I've overcome a lot and feeling confident to do this, to do a TV show, or I'm confident enough to stand on stage. But in life, I know certain things have challenged me, even as I get older. When I didn't think I was, it switched. I started to not think I'm not smart enough, So then when you get with people who, and I was around a lot of very intelligent people, and that then I started to question. These are things chipping away at the star. But started to think, well, why are they hanging around me? I'm not as smart as them. Or over talking about um, things that maybe you know a little bit about, but you try to kind of blow yourself up a little bit. So the confidence level I have now is to know, hey, I'm not perfect, and yeah, sometimes I'm too much. Sometimes I'm uh, wild and crazy and fun and angry and all those things, but knowing who I don't live in a place of anger. Um, but I know who I am. When I wake up in the morning and I'm full of gratitude that I'm here, um, I think that's the confidence, showing up as who I am. That's it. That's my confidence. Showing up as who I am and not going, oh my God, who you are is not good. This morning I got up and I was in the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and said, I love you, girl.
That's fantastic. Oh my God, I love it. Right? Because it starts there. When we can love ourselves, we can then turn our love out. And loving who you are, like you said, like all the messiness, like the anger, this fun, the sadness, the failures, the successes, all those things is this wonderful, wonderful mess of a but mess in a really beautiful way. Like it's a whole complex circuitry system that is really important. And what I heard in what you're saying is like every step you're going on your journey, like you're building more, and you're like, okay, okay. So there's something about that where we get terrified, and so we stay still or we stay quiet. But when we start to take those steps forward, and it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just us on our journey of learning and speaking up a little bit more, we actually find answers in that action. And we also find ourselves in that action. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Disagree?
And one thing I've heard people say, of course, is your mess is your message. Your mess is your message.
Your message is your message.
Your mess,
Oh,
your mess is your message.
oh my gosh. Yes. That's fantastic. And I will say this. This is the thing that comes to my brain. When your mess is your message and you are, and when I say you is the general you, because it could also, I mean, it's also me, is this struggle to get ourselves out in the world when we're like, oh, you're supposed to be this way, or maybe you're not enough, but you're like, no, but I love me. I'm trying to love me and I want to be me in the world. That part, that little part, however big or small it's grown, and as it's getting traction, that no, this doesn't feel right. I don't feel right not being worthy. I don't feel right being told these things that I'm not good enough or I can't do something. That part that's sticking up within yourself, that is the part of you that doesn't want to turn against itself. The part that's like, I'm done being told I'm not good enough, I'm too small, I'm this, I'm too much, too little, I should be smarter, I should not be so smart, whatever it is. I'm not networked enough. That part's saying, no, you are enough just as you are. Go, go, be expressed, be in bloom, do it. And that's what I love. To me, that's the resilience. Whatever we've been tortured with, beaten with, conditioned by, it's like when that little inkling of that voice is still there, like there's this resilience saying, your soul, know the truth of who you are. Do not turn away.
Yeah, and your past, the whole stuff, there's a lot of quotes. Your past does not define your future. There is a beginning, there is a middle, and we've all heard this, the directors and the writers and the creators of our life when you become an adult. You know, we are really in control, at least our minds are in control. What we tell ourselves, we're in control of that, what we tell ourselves. So I don't know. It's but you have to do the work. You have to take the steps. You have to do the tools. But even as we're talking here, I mean, it's wonderful. But I still have to go when I leave here. I still do my work. I took a breath before I came on to do the show with you. I had to take a breath and calm that. Not that I'm nervous, but just to take a breath, be myself, all of that, be authentic, allow myself to be authentic and
Mm.
um, who I am. Just it's okay. It's all okay. You know.
That's wonderful. Yes, taking a breath is a great place to get in your body and grounded with who you are.
I love that somatic feeling that you know so well. I don't really know it. I don't know. I just know that understand it a little bit, but yeah, I'd love to learn more of that from you.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this for, like, as I know your show, which is so lovely, it's called OutRaised Voices on E360 TV Live. When you are talking to people who have gone through the foster care system, um, what would you say to children who are about to age out of that system? What kind of advice would you give? What did either you need or some of your guests on your show need?
That's a good question, and it's certainly, before I started the show, I was working on a workshop for kids, whatever you want to call it, maturing out, aging out, um, leaving care, and I, I think I would want youth to know that now is the begin. It's the hard time. It's a hard time to be almost forced into becoming an adult when you don't feel prepared to do that. But this too shall pass.
Mm,
This too shall pass. But
mhm.
it can be a very difficult time. And there are a lot of resources. Reach out. I mean, they have resources now that you have help within the system. Reach out. Maybe not enough, but reach out. And yeah, reach out. That's what I would say. This too shall pass.
Yeah, it's true. This too shall pass. That's it's wonderful. Do you remember what that was like for you when you were transitioning out of care?
I couldn't wait to get out. I had run away. But I ended up at the summer because I was not 16 and I didn't want to go as a teenager into another home. I fed up. I want out. I want out. I want out. So I went and worked for the children's aid summer camp for a little while. And then I got out of there. But I thought, I mean, I've written a song about this, but I thought that, okay, this is freedom, right? I'm getting out of here. I'm going to be all that. And then I realized, oh gosh, I got to feed myself, find a roof over my head. Who am I going to turn to? Um, you got to take care of business. And I ended up at my first home eventually after going through my first foster home. And she's still the only woman I call mother, even though it was such a challenging time. But it was it was tough for me coming out. It was tough. I made a couple of mistakes that could have um, caused me to have a different life.
Mhm. Wow. Thank you.
Choices, and again, it's choices. Here's door A, door B. So I say, yeah, I made a choice not to do X, Y, Z. But that's also the luck. That's also, I have to say, from my faith point of view, uh, that at the time, I always remember thinking that when I'd be alone at night, that I would talk to God, and that yeah, sometimes I would feel Him actually holding my hand.
Oh,
And I'm not like whatever you want to call overly religious, and I've studied a lot of religions like that. But at that time, I actually feel that that is what helped me come through. Some of these big challenges that I was going through. That I would have conversations with God. That's a great book, by the way.
I agree. David Neil Walsh. I love that book, Conversations with God. That's beautiful. Thank you, Sharon Lee. What would you say is the big lie that young adults are up against as they leave care that society wants them to believe that we kind of have to, you know, delve into to make sure we're not too naive about it?
The big lie. That's a good question. What is the big lie? That um, to think about that. What is the big lie? I think there's a few of them, but what
Yeah.
is the big lie that I think for them that it's just the same thing. The limiting beliefs about not, you're not valuable. Just go out and work. That's it. Go out and work, get a job, and everything will be all right. Something like that. But it's not pushed that you have to educate yourself and take steps to get better. And yeah, it's not just go out, get a job, and it's all okay. That's not true. So if that is a lie, I'm not sure
Mhm.
what youth aging out of care feel like. But that's a question I will ask when I have that workshop. What is the big lie they are hearing? Because I hear from adults, what is
Yeah.
their, you lie to yourself. That's the big lie, is lying to yourself.
Right. And maybe it's not the young adults who know what the lie is yet because they're buying into something. But I think what I liked that you touched upon, whether this is it or not, it may be different for different people, is it's not just going out and getting to work. Like you actually have to work on the internal work, the foundation of who you are, to be yourself when you go out to do work, and knowing that you provide value, that you're intrinsic to part of this world and this life and the fabric of beings here, that you do provide value no matter what you're doing. And when you have a solid foundation or a somewhat solid foundation, or even an inkling of that within, you can bring more of that to what you do each day. And I feel like that will help you get farther than just coming in, plugging in, doing your work and leaving.
Yeah, and also that thinking that no one will ever love you. You're not, that whole thing that you're not lovable.
Mhm.
Because if you had to, if you were putting kinship or adopted or whatever, feeling that you were given up, knowing that you were given up, and there may be really good reasons why you were given up, but that abandonment issue is a big doggone issue for people, abandonment. So feeling that no one else is going to love you, because if I used to have, and I'm saying this from my perspective, I used to feel that if my own mother, and I put blame on mothers because mothers carry do the 9 months, right?
Mhm.
Although the father is equally as, you know, but somehow I put it on my mother. But if your own mother doesn't want you, who else will?
Right.
That's what was a big thing, abandonment, and carrying that into your life. But understanding that things go on, with parents, maybe I don't know. There's different reasons why somebody gives up a child, or a baby, and maybe because they really thought that they were doing the right thing, and maybe they are doing the right thing, but the child in me didn't know that. Right? What's the right thing? Who said it's the right thing?
Right. And I think you're right. That's another piece, is like the belief that you're not loved, or you're not lovable, or you can't be loved, is a big lie. And it's, but we get so caught into it, even if it's not said, it becomes, I think you said this in the first episode, of like being pointed out, oh, you're in foster care, or this is a foster care kid, or oh, you don't live with your parents. Like this uniqueness of the situation starts to single you out. And you feel like, I'm not like the others. I may not get to have the same things. I must not be this. I must not be able to have those things. And none of that is true. It's it's interesting because I have a child. I had a child on my own, and kids will always ask him if he has a dad. And I can see, he's 5. He's like, and I'll say, well, we're a 2-person family, and the other little children will say, and you're a 4-person family. We're a 2-person, you're a 4, there's 3-person, there's 8-person families. We're just a 2-person family. And it kind of takes it out of that realm of, it's just very simple.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, 2-person family, the 4-person family,
A
is
1-person family, right? There's all these different, yeah.
oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, because again, my generation grew up with mother. You have to have a mother, father. You don't have that. You are not. You are just, you know, I don't know. And what your mother gave you, you're just excuse my language, a bastard. No, but
Mhm.
excuse my language. It is a word. So, yeah, yeah, I love that. So
Yeah,
that you have that language to even say that now.
yeah, it reframes the experience. It's not like you don't have something. No, we're two of us. There's four of you. It's not that we don't have something. There's just we have two and you have four, and I think it's helped him. Obviously, we're still having he'll
Yeah,
continue to grow and there's lots of different families he's seen. Other people who have two people families, kids at his school. So yeah, and trying to give that ability or that languaging, that reframing to other children in situations like that helps them feel um, less different and they still
yeah,
belong because they do. They belong and they're loved and all those things. But sometimes that's hard when you feel different and you're afraid that you'll be teased or you'll lose some connection.
yeah. You're looking over there and you think, oh, they've got mom and a father, and even with same gender families,
Yeah.
they've got they have uh, to deal with that with their children as well. What you've got two moms, you've got two dads. As what you said, two-person family. Even though that is the language is still there, you still wonder what the child is absorbing because we still, how are they absorbing that? You know, um, interesting thing. We don't
Right.
know.
I
Time will tell.
right. And think
Time.
about how much the language has changed since when
Oh God.
you started to what it is now. And it's still changing. It still needs to evolve and it's trying to reach out into other places. But I think
Yeah.
there's especially with the work that you do in your show, like letting people share their stories and share their voices really makes a difference. What do
Yeah.
you love?
Community.
Oh, go ahead.
Community. I was saying, creating that community where you can be heard, and uh, as I always say, your voice matters because it does. It's creating community, a safe place to come, tell your story, stand up and be heard, be proud. Whatever. That's the journey.
Yes, it's wonderful. So, what are you really enjoying about your show? And for all of our viewers who are just popping in, Sharon Lee has her own show on E360 Live called OutRaised Voices.
What do I really enjoy? I really enjoy hearing the stories. My heart, sometimes I go, when people are so vulnerable and open and willing to share their journeys, not only with me, but with an audience. I love that. There is purpose. People are learning from that. People feel a sense, from what I hear, a sense of relief from having shared their journey with the public. I love that. I love that they feel like they matter. I love that I just enjoyed doing the show. I love that I am resilient enough to be here, that I am here doing this, and this is me, and it's okay. This is, started from the bottom, now I'm here.
That's so wonderful. Well, thank you, Sharon Lee, for being here and helping us to shed more light on such incredible topic of like being who you are, having that resilience, finding the community, and raising your voice and being able to speak up because you do matter. And thank you,
Yeah,
Sharon Lee, for what you do and working with people. It's really incredible. So, as I've mentioned, Sharon Lee has her own show on E360 TV called OutRaised Voices. Or if you would like to get in touch with her, you can reach her at sharonleewilliams.ca. And if you got something out of today's show, please share it. Our intention is to inspire, educate, and support women in having what's most important to them. So if you got something from today's show, I'm sure you know somebody else who would too. Please send your questions and comments to your wealthy self at e360tv.com. Thank you for being with us today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.